takes place in a world where superheroes known as soups are real but are controlled by a powerful and corrupt corporation called Vought International. While they appear heroic to the public, many are reckless, abusive, or outright evil behind the scenes. And that is the first theme we'll be looking at: corporate control. In a world where everything seems to benefit a higher up, accumulating billions at the expense of people's health, cause chaos in the rich mineral third world countries, all to try and control that wealth. Vought International is a perfect embodiment of greedy evil corporations. Originally founded as Vought American by Nazi scientist Frederick Vought, the company evolved into a dominant force in pharmaceuticals, defense, and entertainment. Its most notorious creation is Compound V, a substance that grants superhuman abilities, enabling Vought to manufacture and control superheroes or soups for profit and influence. Vought's flagship superhero team, the Seven, is portrayed to the public as noble protectors, but is, in reality, carefully curated group used to boost Vought's brand and stock value. The company manages every aspect of the image, from orchestrated crime-fighting events to merchandise and media appearances. Beyond superheroes, Vought's reach extends into various industries, including film and television through Vought Studios, comic books via Vought Comics, news media with the Vought News Network, and even theme parks like Voughtland. These ventures serve to reinforce the company's dominance and shape public perception. Internally, Vought employs specialized divisions such as Vought Special Services, responsible for concealing the collateral damage caused by soups, and Vought Security, a private military force conducting covert operations to protect the company's interests. It's a mirror held up to our real world, reflecting the industries that shape our culture, our politics, and our perceptions of truth. Vought's grip on entertainment mirrors Disney's dominance in our reality. Just like Disney controls the biggest franchises in pop culture like Marvel, Star Wars, Pixar, Vought controls superhero narratives. They produce blockbuster films starring the Seven, releasing them on their own streaming platform, Vought Plus, and flood the market with merchandise, spin-offs, and press tours. The parody of what happens when entertainment stops being about storytelling and becomes a vehicle for brand control and profit maximization. In The Boys, superheroes aren't heroes, they are intellectual property, just like how Disney treats its characters these days. Furthermore, Vought doesn't care about saving lives, they care about optics, profits, and market research. Characters like Homelander and Queen Maeve aren't judged by their morality, they're judged by their public approval ratings. It's a biting satire of how corporations prioritize image over impact. Just like real-world companies that bend their values to whatever sells, Vought rewrites history, spins scandals, and repackages tragedy as brand content. In that sense, it's not just a parody of Disney, but of every mega corporation that sells us ideals while hiding a much darker reality. One of Vought's major goals is to integrate superheroes into the US military. They push this through lobbying, media manipulation, and fear tactics. This is a pointed critique of real-world military-industrial complex, where companies like Lockheed Martin and Raytheon profit off global conflict. Through Vought News Network, a clear nod to channels like Fox News, the company shapes public opinion. It manufactures outrage, buries dissent, and pumps out propaganda under the guise of patriotism. This reflects how real-world media conglomerates can become tools of power and not truth. In The Boys, the truth is irrelevant if it doesn't align with the brand. The soups aren't just heroes, they're celebrities, and every action they take is filtered through PR consultants, social media managers, and brand teams. Even their apologies are scripted, even their tragedies are monetized. This is a reflection of influencer and celebrity culture today, where public figures are curated and they are not authentic, where image replaces substance and virtue is just another product to sell. Perhaps the most damning parallel lies in Compound V. The drug that creates superheroes is sold as a myth, that soups are born, not made. It's a carefully maintained lie, used to justify fame, superiority, and corporate dominance. This storyline parallels real-world pharmaceutical industries where drugs are rushed, covered up, and pushed despite knowing the consequences. It echoes scandals like the opioid epidemics where profits were placed far above people's lives. And further down my research, I found something far more interesting than Disney in some way, a company called BlackRock, a fund company founded in New York City in 1988 with $7.4 trillion in assets under management, making it the largest asset manager in the world. Furthermore, this company has its hands in every company that you may think of. For context, according to 2022 data, the GDP of Japan was $4.9 trillion, Germany standing at $4.1 trillion, and BlackRock stood at a whopping $10 trillion in assets. Now imagine the third world countries. They don't even come close, right? Showing how much power and control they have. Further continuing in this rabbit hole, I found the biggest US banks by asset size, and BlackRock is either the top stakeholder holder or one of the largest shareholders. More so, I came across this website that shows the holdings of the said company. They either have majority or minority stakeholding in over 4,000 companies. Microsoft, Tesla, Disney, Netflix are just a few of the notable ones in a pool of many. And it does not necessarily have to be a company. It might be the countries we live in, especially the superpowered countries, who play a big part in the world economics and politics. And when an inferior country plays against the rules, the leaders in that uprising are exterminated. Countries like the DRC, Mozambique, Burkina Faso, and many more have been subject to this. Now it is up to you to come up with a definitive conclusion with the information provided. Am I spewing a bunch of nonsense or fact?
Your brand is hope. Baseball. America. Sunshine. You don't do vengeance.
It was actually my mom who dragged me along to my first Little League practice, and
First of all, my applause goes to the writers of the series in how they explore the heroes and villains. They're not vanilla. We get to see how with great power comes distress, narcissism, depression, and confusion. In short, we get to see a different side of these superpowered beings like never before. One that embodies all of this is the Homelander, who in some way also represents the dark world of celebrities in Hollywood, a character brilliantly played by Anthony Starr, an emblem of what we all resonate deeply with. There's this article that perfectly describes the satire approach represented by the Homelander, saying that the cleverly named Homelander is the perfect metaphor for neoconservatism. In front of the cameras, he is resplendent in his American flag cape and brimming with platitudes about freedom and democracy, seasoned with occasional quotes from the Bible. Off camera, he is brutal, sadistic, arrogant, and utterly immoral. A bona fide sociopath, he dominates the seven. This goes deeper than you think. Let us break down what this means in its entirety. The clever named Homelander. The Homelander evokes patriotism and nationalism. Homeland referring to America and Lander giving him an almost mythic, heroic sound. He embodies the dualities of American iconography, appearing as a symbol of hope and heroism while acting as a force of oppression and deceit. This duality makes him a symbolic character in the literary sense, representing the often hypocritical nature of institutional power and the dangers of unchecked authority. Through Homelander, The Boys offers a critical examination of the intersection between celebrity culture, capitalism, and morality, providing rich material for analysis in terms of how power structures are maintained and challenged in society. Perfect metaphor for neoconservatism. Neoconservatism is a political ideology often associated with aggressive foreign policy, nationalism, and promoting American values like democracy and freedom abroad, sometimes through military force. The metaphor implies that neoconservatism publicly promotes high ideals but may hide darker, self-serving, or violent motives. In front of the cameras, Homelander performs as a public relations hero, patriotic, charming, quoting the Bible, speaking about freedom and democracy. This reflects how politicians or institutions may use patriotic and religious imagery to inspire loyalty or justify actions. Off camera, privately, Homelander is cruel, narcissistic, and morally bankrupt.
you fucking.
This shows the contrast between image and reality. While he talks about noble ideas, he acts in ways that contradict them completely. In classic superhero narratives, characters are moral paragons who use their powers for the greater good, upholding justice and protecting the innocent. He flips this expectation by using the facade of a superhero to conceal his true nature. This subversion not only adds depth to his character, but also serves as a critique of blind adulation towards authority figures, a prevalent theme in transgressive fiction.
I am done apologizing. I am done being persecuted for my strength. You people should be thanking Christ that I am who and what I am, because you need me. You need me to save you. You do.
With that said, this is not what makes Homelander great. There's a deeper emotional evoke. An article by Ineda Arya gives a thought-provoking argument. She states that his actions and motivations are imbued with moral ambiguity, making him a literary goldmine for character study. He is not purely evil. His character is shaped by a traumatic upbringing and the manipulations of those around him, including the corporation that created him. This background provides a fertile ground for exploring themes of nature versus nurture, free will, and the ethics of power. Even though Although Homelander is basically a godlike superhero, what makes him so compelling is how real and how human he feels on the inside. He's not just a one-dimensional villain. He struggles with deep emotional issues like wanting love, control, and a sense of purpose. These inner conflicts, like his need to be admired or his fear of rejection, make him feel relatable even if his actions are extreme. This kind of emotional depth is what great stories often aim for. In literature, it's called psychological realism, showing how complex and messy people's minds can be. With Homelander, we're not just watching a bad guy cause destruction, we're invited to ask deeper questions like, who am I without love or approval? What happens when power replaces purpose? Can someone who was never shown compassion really understand morality? In conclusion, the show reflects real-life issues by exposing how society often idolizes powerful figures like celebrities, politicians, or in this case, superheroes, without really thinking about who they are behind the scenes. The series warns us about the dangers of unchecked authority. It challenges we, the viewers, to think critically. Don't just believe you're told, even if someone looks like a hero. Ask questions, demand honesty. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you for watching, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Peace.